Welcome back to Gatekeeper Media's coverage of the 2023 Skåne Open. This is the first event of the 2023 Swedish Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Max Regitnig.
How's it going, guys?
Max, we've seen some pretty good golf on this front nine. Tell us a little bit about what we expect to see on this course in the back.
More of the same. A lot of tight holes. A couple open eagleable holes as well. Starting off with hole 10. But yeah, definitely can make it easy on yourself getting the tee shot clean. But yeah, tee shot pretty open, but want to keep it in the short grass. Definitely set up a pretty tight tunnel shot. Don't have to get too crazy with the distance, as it's 252 meters total, but this upshot slopes away on the right and thick brush on the left, so want to dial it in for that easy birdie.
We've seen Hjalmar Fredriksson have a very good front nine, some solid putting, only one bogey, drags his lefty backhand over to the left, nearly gets it out, will be on the edge for his second shot.
Should still be able to get a clean second shot down that tunnel. Again, doesn't need all that much distance, but Josef keeping it pretty straight. Looks like he disced down, didn't want to get too crazy from the tee, and definitely can afford to do that on this hole.
That's a good responsible play, trying to break off 90 to 100 meters instead of 125.
Henric going with more of the hyzer, still looking up to get right center cut fairway. Did that nicely. Looks like he's opening up on the second shot a bit more, maybe looking for the eagle.
Yeah, Hagman pulls it over to the right side late and isn't going to get quite the distance he needs, but still a pretty good honest attempt.
Looked great. I mean, he might have got up there for a putt. Tough to say with that basket tucked into the bushes there. Hjalmar not quite getting clean. Might have to scramble for par from there. Josef looking to get a little aggressive as well. Maybe turned it over a bit too much. Might be tough to get up and down from there. Those trees are pretty tightly spaced.
And Hjalmar needs to be in par mode here, not try to do anything crazy. Does well to get himself in a layup position. And Josef for his third. What's the character of the woods here if you're off the fairway?
Yeah, both courses in Malmö, definitely tight trees when you get off the fairway. You really hard to scramble if you do get far off the fairway. But usually enough trees to keep you from going too deep, but if you're unlucky, tough to get back out there.
Pretty decent forehand approach. Interesting to see Josef going to that rather than the backhand playing into the slope.
Yeah, Josef definitely forehand dominant for the up shots. Doesn't throw many backhands when it comes to that touchy distance. Just relies on that forehand consistency. Hjalmar almost thrown in for the bird, I think.
Yeah, pretty nearly the heroic attempt.
I'm not sure if he was trying to get too aggressive, but left himself a pretty lengthy comebacker. But at least he's putting uphill and not downhill. Went for that stepper again, but didn't catch metal, so might be a little tricky there with the trees. Josef makes good for par.
And you see the fist pump. Like, that's a big momentum shift given where he was after two shots on the hole.
Yeah, and I mean, again, not the most confident putts here. A lot of shorter putt misses, so anything that's a good make, maybe building that confidence.
Hjalmar with the good aggressive putt for his 6, and Henric for the pretty easy 4. And now we're back to tight, straight tunnel shot. 78 meters, no OB to speak of. just take your most confident mid-range or putter and rip it down the tunnel, huh?
Yeah, plays a little uphill, sloped fairway all the way, so the ground play is definitely a factor, but definitely a tight gap here. Pick something you're confident hitting that straight putter mid-range slot with. Josef going with the Berg again. Caught up early.
Both right-handed players trying to take a hyzer release. I wonder if playing for a little bit of counter skip on the ground.
For sure. Not playing too stable at all. Really just something that goes dead straight. Easy finish. Hjalmar putting that close.
Yeah, barely having to make a putt this time for his birdie. And jump putt attempt incoming.
A lot of action. Looked pretty lengthy, so maybe just thinking layup from there.
And from a fully extended position, here's Hagman.
Looks to have some nice touch on that. Puts it right up against the basket.
Yeah, that's a really hard shot to execute when you're, so far extended, all you have is wrist, right?
Yeah, I mean, Henric is an athlete. I think he played floorball in his early years and definitely still using that limber frame. Hole 12, another really tight one. Bends over to the right, 83 meters, probably a mid-range or a putter. Also maybe lefty-friendly with that finish, but again, a really tight one. Kind of just hoping that the shape pans out how you envision it.
Hjalmar back to the hyzer release. Just kind of keeps the disc on that plane the whole way. Doesn't try to aggressively move right and earns a putt.
Standstill forehand from Henric. Looks to hit the gap. And works out really nicely for him. Maybe pushed that left side more than you would hope, but it looked like it fit the shape of the fairway.
And the righty backhand, maybe not the preferred play, but the most effective in this case.
These guys are making it look easy. All putting for birdie. Great looking stroke from Hjalmar. Looked like dead center.
And that feels like a microcosm of Henric's round, where he's done enough to get there, but hasn't been able to convert all of the time.
Yeah, we've seen some putting woes from Henric, and he is a very, very solid putter. I'm not sure if he's just working through some things. He tends to wear those jackets even when it's not too cold out.
Hole 13, 131 meters, a par 4, playing pretty straight in kind of the suggestion of this bowl or valley. Work your way to the bottom of the hill, and then you just have to find your way on a line that moves up the hill to the basket perched at the top. Really neat hole here.
Yeah, I've seen people go hyper aggressive with a roller, try to get a putt at it, but not a lot of ceiling to work with for the air shot, so most people just playing this low pushing driver shot and then kind of getting what you're given from your upshot.
Just acknowledging that at some point on the hole you're going to have to scramble, so you might as well get what you can off the tee.
Yeah, a lot of trees at the end that are shielding the basket, so I think most of the time you're playing it blind as well to the pin, so a lot of these shots is trusting your preparation for the event and picking those lines that you're most confident in.
Mm-hmm. And by being so far to the right, that may open up a line around the cluster of trees in the middle.
Henric put some nice snap on that one. Looks like he got the angle pretty well. And yeah, I mean, he's kind of up on that slope, so he might have a better look, even be able to see the basket from there.
Josef going to play slight Anheuser forehand to flatten, and very nicely done inside the circle.
Another birdie look from Josef. Another nicely done forehand upshot.
And a much wider hyzer than intended from Hjalmar.
Yeah, it looks like he just gripped that one. I think he had the optimal lane for the upshot there, the biggest gap in the fairway, but just held on for a little too long for it. And Henric with a jump putt, making it look easy.
Yeah, relatively short par 4. He got what he could off the tee and rewarded handsomely with the easy upshot. And good backstop there for Hjalmar. Should be in position to save his 4.
And that was a righty flick. So I did not know that he was one of those that have the lefty backhand righty flick combo. I'm not sure if that extends further to a righty backhand maybe, but
I'm glad you noticed it, because when we saw him tap the basket for his 4 attempt on hole 10, I thought it was a righty flick. It was the same spin, but just something clicked.
We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Hole 14, definitely an option to go for the green on this one. Pretty open airspace, but also could give the wind a little extra time to do something weird to it, but can definitely pitch up to before the water and go for the birdie. But 135 meters, most people have that in the bag, but whether or not they're willing to risk an easy birdie for that extra stroke. But yeah, Hjalmar going for that righty flick again. Looks like good position.
You see the flags, wind indicating a little bit tailwind right to left, but perhaps too early in the tournament to be taking chances.
Yeah, when you're gifted an easier birdie, I mean, these are putter upshots essentially that most people should be very confident in doing. Henric +1 on the round, maybe want to get a little extra going for the pin. Looks to get caught up, and unfortunately OB has this green plays as an island.
And back to the lefty backhand. And just throwing lawn darts in there is Hjalmar.
Very well done. So Henric at the drop zone. Standstill forehand. Looks to have got it nicely done, but I'm not sure if that road is OB. Looks like he might be close. There's definitely OB long, but how close, I'm not too sure. Josef not getting that the height. Unfortunately comes out of bounds.
And Max, that can be a pretty frustrating thing to do, to, make the smart layup play on your first, but then not get it inbounds on the second.
Yeah, maybe just too relaxed there, thinking easy birdie, don't have to get too wild with anything, and just lapse of focus on that upshot.
The comeback putt, this basket not more than 3 or 4 meters from the water, but a good stick for Hagman.
Yeah, staring at OB, and from the putting woes from the front nine, Henric, really solid stroke there, makes it for the par save.
Yeah, you don't get to be as good as Henric without being able to reset in the middle of something.
Yeah, I mean, 2-time Swedish champion. He definitely has game, and I'm sure he wants to show it more than a couple over on the front nine. So a bounce back there from him.
Hole 15, 93 meters. Again, playing a little bit uphill. A lot of open space to work with here. But we are going to move to the right. And the basket tucked just short of some out of bounds.
Yeah, definitely nice for that lefty backhand, and surely some forehands from Josef and Henric. Looked like good weight on this one. Ooh, leaks a bit long. Uphill as well, so it kind of helps you not go long. So maybe just a little, wind read error there, but leaks a bit long, but should have a pretty decent birdie or par putt safe.
Good correction on the forehand, coming up a little bit short instead. And the flags indicate that it is tailwind.
Looks good from Josef. Yeah.
And the best of the bunch.
Bread and butter. Josef definitely a forehand savvy player and should be licking his chops on that one.
A good par cleanup for Hjalmar. I think this is kind of spiritually similar to what we saw on hole 2, though perhaps a little easier.
Yeah. Similar shape, similar distance, maybe was two is uphill as well. Yeah, so it's a very similar hole, just a little more danger on hole 2.
Why disc golf?
It's the people.
It's fun.
It's being in nature.
It's the lucky shots.
It's the feeling.
It's different.
It's the challenge. It's the throws.
So come out.
Grab a disc.
Or 2. And let it fly with Lone Star Disc.
Hole 16, we got another par 4 here, 205 meters. Definitely can bite off a lot on that first shot to make this upshot a lot easier. Didn't look like a lot of OB to speak of, so I mean it should be pretty soft par 4 here. But these flags may be indicating differently.
A good flat rip for Hagman.
Yeah, looking at the caddy book here, I think a lot of this is hazard on right and left of this little runway. So yeah, definitely have to keep this straight.
Is it pretty common for Swedish designs to play with hazards rather than strict out of bounds?
I think this is a new philosophy. I know Mikkel Bui, who's solely responsible for a lot of these Pro Tour and European events gaining some traction. So I think he definitely has a lot to do with the course design and course changes, and I think he opts for definitely leaning on the more difficult side and adding those OBs or hazards or tightening them, definitely within his philosophy.
As we see a pretty good bounce out there for Josef. Max, do you think that that's European disc golf trying to keep up with the way American disc golf design has gone on the Disc Golf Pro Tour?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they want to make things harder to kind of boost the players' the skills that they need to score well on these courses, but also just maybe the land that they're allowed to make these courses on maybe doesn't allow for these huge holes, and maybe the artificial out of bounds is that way to up the difficulty without the space.
Sure.
Josef making a really nice birdie putt there. Had to straddle out, but very clean.
We saw a pretty good upshot from Hjalmar, but unable to make his putt. Perhaps the downslope he was on, ball level with the basket, makes that challenging. Henric.
In for birdie.
Yeah, low and center, nicely done. Back under for the round. Kind of a long road back for him.
Yeah, Henric has been hitting a lot of good putts down the stretch here, making up for that first round. But down the stretch here.
Hole 17, 87 meters. Once again, a gap shot. And then relatively flat green. I think the danger here is don't go long.
Yeah, a couple limbs and trees that are a little quirky with the line, so kind of have to keep this low punching shot. Gets caught up a little early. Might have a long look at 2, but probably par from there.
Flat forehand release. Going to get a nice touch off of the bush that gobbled Henric.
Yeah, 87 meters, not too long, so basically just pick your shape. Nice smooth looking turnover from Hjalmar. Looks like he's on the dance floor. Circle maybe 7 meters.
To me, it looks like Hjalmar doesn't throw super far, but everything he does is very smooth and efficient.
Yeah, very controlled. It reminds me a lot of Linus, actually. Keeping those angles and not pushing it too much.
And a good effort by Josef, but cannot finish the drill.
Yeah, maybe 5 meters there for Hjalmar, and gets the spit out. Dead center. Hate to see it.
Yeah, a little high, a little driven, but you definitely want those to stick.
Yeah, sometimes you just want that confident stroke, but add a little too much power to get that pop. A couple tap-ins for par.
A little surprising to not see any birdies on that, but we're going to go into our final hole with all of our players under par. What are we looking at here on 18?
18, I believe, is blind from the tee as well. A little downhill shot. Raised basket, so that might be new. Shorter, 77 meters, mostly straight putter shot from these guys.
And I believe a mandatory forcing you to go left of one of the gap trees, yes?
Mando left, yeah, just straight at it. Nice looking line, leaked a little right, but has a look for birdie. 8-9 meters. Josef going with a backhand.
I'm a little surprised to see that, given his proficiency with the forehand.
Yeah, I mean, it looks to be a very straight shot from that angle. Maybe a little left to right angle, but I mean, these guys are looking at the basket, 77 meters. Don't have to think too hard about it.
Yeah, anything you can do to get there. Flat mid-range from Fredriksson.
Also leaking a bit right. I'm not sure how those trees line up for those putts, but Josef, pretty clean look at it, just a little high.
And you see the frustration building a little bit. Spit out on the previous hole, now chain out on hole 18 for Hjalmar.
A few missed putts from Hjalmar there. Surely, building that frustration that he showed there after that missed putt, but great comeback make.
Yeah, pretty solid and clean round overall. 4 down, puts him in a tie for 10th place in the event.
Henric finishes off with a birdie to go -2. Definitely had some struggles early, but cleaned it up really nice on the back nine, and yeah.
And 36 more to go in the event, right?
Yeah, lots of golf left. Josef leaving a little out there.
So kind of a frustrating finish. Also going to leave Josef at 4 under for the event. And you see there, a 4, a 4, a 2, and we're sorry, Kristian. We didn't get to see you play at all. Hopefully next time.
Yeah, not terrible scores. Like, they're definitely still in it, but unfortunately not staying on this, or getting to their lead card there. We've got 4 new faces for round 2.
Yeah, that's great. And as many opportunities as we have to bring international coverage, I love seeing the new faces. Max, take us home.
Taco hey.